Hey there guys, it's Attack on Samurott, and welcome to Season 2 of the OBA League. So, yeah, Season 2 already came up. Season 1 ended like a few weeks ago, but yeah, so we had ended in a 4th place, I remember. Yeah, we ended in 4th place. It was a very good battle, though, so, yeah, so now Season 2. We have, there are 8 more coaches, so it's going to be even harder to make it to the playoffs this time. So we had drafted on Friday, and people had picked some really good mons. Of course, I picked some really good mons as well. But I did get sniped. I got sniped 4 times actually. Yeah, 4 times. So, yeah, let's get it started. So before I start, before I start taking my picks, so how the draft had went, so round 1 was OU, then round 2 was RU, then round 3, wait, oh crap, I skipped one. Okay, so round 1 was OU. Round 2 was UU, BL, and BL2. Round 3 was RU, and the final round was NU and below. So in those 4 rounds, we had to pick 3 Pokemon, so that would give us a total of 12 to pick. So my first pick for OU, oh, and also I was last in the whole draft, so that would mean that I have to pick. That means that I get to pick 2 Mons actually. So kind of a good thing, but at the same time kind of bad, because then all the good mounts will be taken. But anyways, I'm explaining too much. So anyways, my first pick was Latias. I wanted to get Latias because Latias is a really bulky mon, especially on its special defensive side. As you can see, I had changed things, so now the stats are on the screen. So Latias has 80 in HP. 80 attack, that doesn't really matter. Defense is 90. Special attack is really high in 110. Special defense is 130, and its speed is 110. So pretty fast and pretty bulky. Actually, I found out that Latias has access to Wish, so I can make this thing a Wish passer. Also, with that 110 special attack, it's gonna hit really hard with Draco Meteors and Psyshocks and everything. This thing also has access to Calm Mind, has access to Tailwind, a whole bunch of stuff, and Healing Wish as well. Like Latias, I'm so glad I picked this thing before anyone else did, because this thing can definitely carry a team. Like, it's a very good mon. So yeah, so that was my first pick, and then along with Latias, I had also picked my second pick for OU, which was. So my second pick, along with Latias, was Tyranitar. So Tyranitar, very good mon, very bulky, has a ton of attack in 134. HP is really high in the 100. Defense is 110, and special defense is 100 as well. So T-Star, very good. Has setup moves like Dragon Dance and Rock Polish. Has a ton of physical attacks. Also, a special attack isn't that bad either in 95, so that's pretty good. So this thing can be a mixed attacker, if I want it to be. But yeah, its defensive stats are really good. Also, this thing's ability is Sandstream. So, Sandstream is a good ability if you had the right mons. Like, actually, originally, I wasn't planning on using using Tyranitar. I was thinking about using a Nidoqueen or a Mamoswine, one of the two. Because I felt like I didn't really need the sand, because the sand wouldn't really benefit my team. But you guys will see what I mean, when I show you guys the rest of my draft. But anyways, Tyranitar, it's a good pick. I'm actually pretty glad I picked it. But I kind of regret it at the same time, because the sand will screw over my team. Yeah. So along with Tyranitar, I had picked my not along with Tyranitar, but my third pick along with my UU pick was. So, this is where I got sniped. I actually wanted Sylveon, but Brad Mew, he actually picked it up before I did, so I was kind of mad at him. But and then also I was thinking about getting Klefki, but someone else had picked that up, so that's two times I got sniped. But anyways, Skarmory, it's actually a pretty good mon. Again, not what I wanted, but Skarmory is definitely a substitute. So anyways, its attack is pretty decent in the 80. Its defense is pretty good, 140. That's very high. Special defense is good, and speed is decent. Actually, no, they're both decent in special defense and speed. But anyways, Skarmory has access to spikes and stealth rocks. Definitely good. So does T-Tar as well. But stealth rocks and spikes are definitely the way to go with this thing. It also does resist. Because of its typing, steel and flying, it can resist earthquake. It can resist ground type moves. So that's actually very good. So that means that T-Tar doesn't have to get hit with the earthquake since it is rock and dark. And also Latias does resist ground types as well because of its ability to levitate. So pretty good pick that pretty good. It's really nice that I picked this thing up. This thing also has access to defog along with Latias, so having two defoggers is pretty nice. Also, this thing does have access to roar and a whirlwind. So if I don't want to be, if I'm in a situation like, for example, with something that wants to set up, like let's say Salamence or something, or Gyarados actually. Let's say that Gyarados. I could roar that thing out, or I could whirlwind it so that way it can't set up on me. So yeah, I'm glad I picked this thing up, and I think it's gonna help my team a lot. So that's my third pick, and along with my final pick for OU was my first pick for round 2 in UU, BL, and BL2. So my round 2 first pick was Mega Blastoise. I needed this thing, so I'm so glad I picked this thing up before anyone else got this thing, because Mega Blastoise is so bulky. Like, look at his stats: 79 HP, 103 attack, so I can make this thing mixed, 120 defense, 135 special attack, and 115 special defense. This thing can take hits for days. This thing is very bulky, and it also has a really good ability in a Mega Launcher. So that means that Pulse and Aura moves get boosted. So that means Aura Sphere gets boosted, Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, and Water Pulse. All four of those moves get boosted. I think Flashkin gets boosted too. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, I'm so glad I picked this thing up. This thing is going to be a monster. This thing also has a Rapid Spin as well. So having a Rapid Spinner on my team will definitely help me. Especially if I want to stay sturdy on some mons in my draft. Like Skarmory also has Skarmory has access to sturdy. So if Stealth Rocks do hit it, then the sturdy's going to be gone, and it's just going to get one shotted by a Fire Blast or something. But I want to make sure that I have Rapid Spin so that way stuff like that doesn't happen. But anyways, I'm so glad I picked this thing up before anyone else did. This thing's gonna be a monster. I can tell. It's just gonna be great. So yeah, it also does help with resisting Skarmory's weakness to fire. So that also helps. But again, T-Tar and Latias also resist too. So Blastoise being there helps as well. But anyways, that's it for Blastoise. And now I'm gonna go on to my second pick for round 2. So my second pick for round 2 was Volcarona. Fun fact: I actually wanted to get Entei, but someone sniped me. With someone that sniped me. So Yeah, this thing was kind of a substitute for it. But anyways, Volcarona is still really good. 100, I mean not. Well, its offenses are very good, and 135 special attack, and its defense is decent in 105, and speed is pretty good at 100. HP is also not that bad either. So Volcarona is very good. Has a bunch of setup moves as well. It has a Calm Mind, Quiver Dance, Fiery Dance. Also has access to U-turn as well. So I actually didn't know that until yesterday that this thing can get U-turn. So I'm glad I picked this thing up too. Also, this thing can learn Psychic as well, so that could kind of help my team. But yeah, anyways, I'm glad I picked this thing up. This thing also has access to Giga Drain as well, so that can definitely help me in some situations. And yeah, Volcarona, I'm glad I picked this thing up. Wanted Entei, but you know, Volcarona is still pretty good. So yeah, so along with Volcarona, I had picked up something else as well. So you guys will see what I picked up. So for my final pick for round 2, along with Volcarona, was Venusaur. Venusaur is very bulky. Like, its stats are pretty good too. 100. I keep saying 180 HP, 100 special attack, 100 special defense, 83 defense. That's pretty solid actually, and 80 in speed. So this thing is decently fast. This thing can be ran with chlorophyll in the sun. So if I want to, I can make a sun team. Make a semi-sun team with this thing. Also, this thing does have access to knockoff, which is actually very useful. Has access to Leech Seed, Giga Drain, Sledge Bomb, a whole bunch of other moves. Also has access to Synthesis as well. So this thing is pretty solid. I'm glad I picked this one up too. So I'm actually glad I picked all 3 of them up, because that's a Fire, Water, and Grass core, which is very good to have in this draft. So I'm glad I had all 3 of them picked up. Because that Fire, Water, Grass core is just, it's a good core. So I'm so glad I have it. I'm so glad I was able to pick all 3 of them in round 2. So yeah, I keep saying Volcarona. Venusaur, great mon. Glad I picked it up. Also has access to Sleep Powder as well. I don't think I mentioned that, but Sleep Powder is a very good move. So I'm glad that this thing has access to it as well. So again, glad I picked this thing up. And now we're gonna move on to round 3, which is RU. So my first pick for RU was Gramble. I needed an Intimidator, so I'm glad I picked this thing up, and also a Fairy type as well. So Gramble is a pretty good mon. Has 90 HP, 120 attack. That's really good. It's like 14 points away from Cheetar. From Tyranitar. Has decent defense as well with the Intimidate, 75, and social defense is lackluster with a 60, so it's not that great, and the speed is pretty bad, but still, Gramble's a very good mon. Also has access to Heal Bell along with Latias, so glad that I have two potential healers on my team. So yeah, this thing, with it being Fairy, does add a bunch of resistances to my team. One of them being Dragon, so very good. And also fighting as well. So again, very good that I have this. Even though I have 3 other things that resist fighting, but still having another fighting resist can definitely help. So again, this thing hits hard. Also has access to Thunder Wave as well. So if I'm in a situation, I can just paralyze things with this thing. And yeah, player on this thing hurts a lot too. So again, glad I have this thing. And yeah, so now we're gonna move on to my second pick for RU, which was along with Granbull. So Metachan was my third pick for RU in the draft. So, the RU draft. Sorry, I think I just hit my mic. Anyways, Metachamp is really good. Decent stats. 60 in attack, 60 in special attacks, 75, and 80 in speed. So that's not bad. So Metachamp, as you can see, its attack is 60. It's really bad. Because of Metachamp's ability, Pure Power. Its attack stat gets doubled. So its attack stat right now will be 120. So it's on par with Granbull, which is actually really good. So that means that this thing hits like a truck. Anyways, Medachamp's really good because it's got priority as well. It's got Fake Out and Bullet Punch. So does Mega Blastoise. Actually, Mega Blastoise gets Aqua Jet, so that thing has priority, which is actually pretty useful for me. Also, Metachamp does get a setup move. It does get Bulk Up. It also gets a Power Up Punch, I believe. And this thing also gets Baton Pass as well. So that's actually really good. If I'm in a situation where I don't want to be in, I can just Baton Pass out, and maybe even pass stats along too. So Metachamp can be a potential Baton Passer on my team, which is actually really good. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for Metachamp. Also Metachamp should be familiar to you guys since I did use it one time. Well, actually that was Mega Metachamp, but still the same thing. Just stronger. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it with Metachamp. And my final pick for RU was supposed to be Drapion, but I got sniped again. So this was a substitute for it, Spiritomb. So Spiritomb is actually pretty decent. It's got a huge bulk, 108 in defense, 108 in special defense, and decent attack stat as well, with 92 in both of them, in both attack and special attack. Speed doesn't really matter, but anyways, this thing also gets priority. It gets Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak. This thing also gets Infestation, so I could trap things and Toxic them or Will-O them. Since Spiritomb can learn Will-O-Wisp. But yeah, Spiritomb, not a bad mon. I like to think of Spiritomb as like a weaker version of Mega Sableye, except without Magic Bounce. That's kind of how I look at it. Like, it's got the bulk of it. It almost has the bulk of it, but it's just, a little weaker. That's kind of how I see it. But anyways, yeah, Spiritomb. Also my first time using it, so I think it'll be pretty fun to use this thing. Same with Granbull. I've never used that thing before, but yeah, I think this thing is gonna be fun. So, along with Spiritomb, ending RU, since I'm able to pick two mons, ending RU with Spiritomb and starting NU and below in the final round was Mismagius. Mismagius is a really good attacker. 105 special attack, 100 in special defense, 105 in special defense, and 105 in speed. Those are really good stats for this thing. So Mismagius, it does get, I think it's Calm Mind. Don't quote me on that. I think it does. I know it gets Nasty Plot as well, so that can be very useful. This thing does get Destiny Bond along with Spiritomb, so if I want to make them both suicide leads, I guess, well, yes, it's kind of a suicide lead as well since it can learn Healing Wish. But if I want to do that, I can. I'm not sure if I want to, but it's an option. I think this thing also gets Taunt as well, so I can make this thing a fast taunter, a fast taunt set or something. This thing also gets Will-O-Wisp along with Spiritomb, and also Volcarona. Volcarona does get Will-O-Wisp as well. But yeah, this is a really good attacker. I'm so glad I picked this one up. Like probably one of the best attackers in NU, most likely. But don't quote me on that. I never played NU, so but yeah, this thing's attack is just so good, and the speed is really good too. So yeah, I'm glad I picked this thing up before anyone else would. Also, this thing can learn Mystical Fire, which is a pretty decent move. Lowers your special attack always every time you hit. I wish it could burn too. That would be great, but it doesn't. But anyways, that's Miss Magus. And now we have Avalugg for my second to last pick for the final round of NU and below in our draft. So, fun fact, Avalugg was actually the first thing I thought of when I was making this draft. I don't know why, but I just wanted to use Avalugg for some reason. Anyways, this thing is the bulkiest defensive wall ever. Okay, that's a lie. Never mind, it's not. But it's still really bulky on the defensive side. 184 defense. That's a lot of defense. That is a lot of defense. Even though it's an ice type, but still, that's a lot of defense. It also has pretty good attack too, in 117 and 95 defense. I mean, in 95 defense, and 95 in HP. Special defense, that's a little lackluster. Special attack doesn't really matter, and speed doesn't matter at all. But this thing, along with Blastoise, but this thing is also a Rapid Spinner, just like Mega Blastoise. So I wanted to have 2 Rapid Spinners on my team. Probably really not that necessary, but I felt like it was necessary to have both of them. This thing also gets Recover as well. Does get a few coverage moves like Earthquake and Stone Edge. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't learn Icicle Crash, which would be great if this thing did, but it does not. Its only good ice type move is Avalanche, which basically is like when you get attacked, when this thing gets hit by a physical move, Avalanche just pretty much like counters that kind of, and just hits you and just hits you back double the power. So Avalugg is a very good mon, and I'm so glad I have this thing. I was so glad I picked this thing up, because this thing is a good wall and will definitely help me out. Just like Skarmory, this thing does get sturdy as well, so this thing can be annoying to deal with, which is definitely why I wanted to pick this thing. So yeah, that's it for Avalugg. And now my final mon for the draft in the final round for NU and below, Luxray. Luxray is amazing. It's a really good mon. Never used it competitively though, but its stats are pretty good. 80 in HP, 128 in attack. So again, on par with Medicham and Granbull. 79 in defense, 95 in special attack. So this thing can be mixed. And 79 in special defense. So speed is pretty lackluster though. But anyways, Luxray is a very good attacker. Mixed attacker as well, just judging by these stats. This thing also gets priority with a quick attack, so that's like what, 5 priority users I have on my team? No, 4. Let's see, Mega Blastoise, Luxray, Medicham, Spiritomb. Yeah, it's 4. Okay, all 4 of them have access to priority moves, so I'm glad I picked this thing up. This thing also gets Volt Switch as well, so I can make a Volturn core with Volcarona and Luxray, which is actually very nice. This thing also gets Guts, so that can be pretty useful in some situations. This thing also gets Intimidate, so having 2 Intimidate users on your team is having 2 Intimidate users in this team is really great for me, because it'll help sponge hits, which is definitely what I need. So anyways, Luxray, I'm glad I picked this thing up. This thing also has access to the elemental fangs, Ice Fang, Thunder Fang, and Fire Fang. So glad I picked this. So glad that this thing has it. Also, this thing does get Wild Charge and Superpower. So again, this thing can hurt like a truck. So I'm glad I picked this one up. And that's pretty much gonna be the end of it. So in conclusion, my whole draft, it's gonna be great. I'm telling you, it's gonna be great. I have a feeling that we may make it to playoffs this time. Well, we made it to playoffs last season, but I have a feeling that we're gonna be in playoffs and we may win. We may, because like I have a really balanced draft. Even though it does have even though it did lack a few mobs that I wanted, I think it still came out as a really good draft. So, anyways, yeah, like again, having 2 rapid sprinters it's okay. Having 2 hazard setups with Skarmory and Tyranitar definitely helped me. And having a Wish Pastor with Latias is definitely useful, so that is really gonna help out my team. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in our first Season 2 OBA League match, which I don't know when it's gonna happen yet. Kingdra's probably still working on the schedule for it, so yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot bigger than it was last season, since we have 16 coaches now. We'll 8 more coaches. So yeah, see you guys in our first see you guys in our first OBA match. Oh wait, there's more. So I decided to change my team name to the Washington Samurats. I know Black City Samurats probably sounded cooler, but I wanted to go Washington Samurats because it represents where I live. That's kind of how I saw it. Also, I think it sounds a little better than Black City Samurats. Even though, again, don't get me wrong, that was a really cool name, but this one I feel like is much better. So yeah, Washington Samurats. I'm actually still working on the logo. Well, actually, I'm finished with the logo. I'm finished drawing it. But what I have to do is, take a picture of it and edit it in Photoshop. So that's gonna take a bit. Probably won't be done until maybe Wednesday or something. Nah, probably not Wednesday. I've got exams this week, so probably won't be done until Friday, most likely. Because I gotta study and stuff. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in our week 1 match of the OBA. I don't know when that is though, but again, I'll see you when it happens.